Welcome back in, everybody. This is the Blue Chip Breakdown, and we are your hosts, Bull and Timmy G. And this is the midweek chat. So we're going to be talking everything Tennessee football, basically. We could talk about the basketball team too, Tennessee, whatever. But obviously, with it being signing day, there's some stuff that I wanted to get to throughout the other videos that we did earlier today that I just could not get to. So we can talk more in depth about that here. This is all about y'all, though. Like, whatever y'all's thoughts, questions, and concerns are, put that down inside the chat. We're going to try to get to everybody. Now, I started the Q&A, the same thing that we did last week. And I don't know if you can click on that and submit the questions that way or how that works, but it is there just so that y'all know. But yeah, I mean, this is just all about y'all, like all the thoughts that you have. Let's go ahead and get them going. And while we're waiting on everyone to join us, Tim, well, look, first off, as you are coming in, if you are here, please do make sure to like and subscribe. That really helps us out. But Tim, what do you think about this class? Because, you know, I kind of saw you inside of the chat there some, but what are your thoughts? And actually, I'm going to go ahead and pull up our class for you.
I think it's a really good class, man. You know, we're still waiting on Sanders, but from what I understand, he's going to be signing later in the week, waiting to commit with some friends. Like they're all going to be signing on the same day, kind of thing.
Okay.
You know, it's like any other class. You lose a couple and you pick up a couple, right?
Yep.
And obviously we lost Shady, but we gained. Is it Jaden
Oh, yeah,
Perlani,
Jayden.
right? That's a huge get, man. That's massive. Picking him up, like that is an insane linebacker class. We did wind up keeping Onus, like, you know, some and a couple surprises in there as well, which you know, I'm sure we'll talk about some of those later. So yeah, man.
So, okay, so I must have missed that, but Onus did sign with Florida. Is that right?
No, he signed with Tennessee.
Oh, okay. Did he sign?
Yes,
Oh, okay. Wow,
Onus is
that's
committed
huge.
to Tennessee. Yes, yes.
Okay, wow. Okay, that's huge news. So it does look like Darion Smith. I don't see him on here. So he must have flipped. Darion Smith, he's the defensive lineman from Baltimore, plays at St. Francis. So he would have been teammates with Idris last season. And actually, I saw them play. I saw him play. And I was like, dude, who is that defensive lineman? Because he keeps on wreaking havoc. I think that it was him. It might have been somebody else. But he was an underclassman. I was like, that dude is good. You know, he's got everything that you want. But even still, man, I think that we will be fine. Obviously, picking up a guy like Campbell, that's huge. And then seeing Jaden dropping so much. For those of y'all that didn't know this, Jaden Pilati was a 5-star, you know, whenever he was committed to UGA. Then he backed out of that. Then they dropped him to a 4-star. He was a very high-rated 4-star, like right on the cusp of being a 5-star. And then, you know, he started flirting around with Florida State, and then it was Tennessee. And then after that, they dropped him down a lot. You know, he ends up committing to USC. Then he flips on signing day to Tennessee. But he's the real deal. I mean, he is the real for real deal. Actually, I'm gonna tell you who I think he's very similar to, Tim. And this is gonna sound crazy to y'all, but I would say he's like a mix of Jaden Harmon and Christian Gass. Like that's the sort of a player that he is, because he's got the speed like a Jaden Harmon, which Gass has it too, but he's got the size of a Jaden Harmon. He's going to be a serious problem. I'm very, very excited about adding him to this class. But something else that we had talked about on some of the previous streams was how the class rankings and stuff, none of that's moved. Like literally, I watched it. It was at 91.84 whenever we're talking about Jaden. And since he's shown up, it's still at 91.84. So, you know, we can actually take a look right here at the national rankings, and you can see who's doing what. So, you know, bunch of SEC, and then it's what, like the 3 Big Ten teams in the top 10. And I mean, Michigan's not even good this season, but this is kind of like, you know, showing y'all what it would take for us to jump up to number 9. A&M, they've got 2 5-stars committed and then 16 4-stars. Now, I haven't counted to see exactly how many 4-stars we have at this point. Is it still 15 or is it more? That'll be interesting because, you know, I think that would help us to jump them. But to me, Tim, I mean, these daggum rankings, you know what I'm saying? It's not. I take it with a grain of salt. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see if we can get to some of these chats real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and push this down, and we can bring that back up at any time if y'all want to. So right here from Corey Aldridge, what's going on, Corey? Thank you for joining us. And yeah, we should have been in place for a home game in the playoffs. Yeah, so we could talk about the playoffs too, for sure. We can start bringing up some of that type of stuff too. Let's see who else we got. from Wes Marshall. Great show. Hey, thank you, Wes. We really thank you so much for that. Money controls it all. What's going on, buddy? Saying go big orange. Also from Corey Aldridge saying Shady is in and out since we started recruiting him. So glad Pilati got on board. Yeah, man. Once they sign on that dotted line, actually, I've had some coaches. I've heard some coaches say, "Hey, man, even if you sign, we can still get you out of that." You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't even necessarily 100% mean that these guys are fully. Oh well, I'm not gonna say they're not fully committed, but it doesn't mean the coaches won't still try to go get them. So you have to know that. Corey Aldridge is also saying 100%. I remember your breakdown on him. He's a beast. Yeah, I think he's talking about Jaden for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna scroll this on over. We'll put the brackets up for you just to get everybody heated real quick. From Unsung, if they don't punish either team for losing their conference championship, doesn't that mean SMU and Clemson both would get in and Bama would be out? That's an interesting point. Tim, have you put any thought to that with how that might work? Because that does make some sense to me. Yeah,
maybe, but I don't know, man. Like, number one, I just don't see them keeping Alabama out. Like, you knew they were going to do everything in the world to let them in, and look where they're at, right? So I don't. Look, because they got that big A on the side of their helmet, that carries some weight. Should it? No, not really. But recency bias and, everybody, I don't know, everybody's still thinking about Nick Saban's Alabama. This ain't Nick Saban's Alabama, right? So, but I mean, look at Ohio State. Like, look, there's obviously severe bias in this. You can't explain a lot of things away with logic with what they've done here. There was some serious bias shown on a lot of things, and it is what it is. But hey, listen, we're in the playoff, right?
Yep.
Just go win. Yep.
Just
go win. That's all we got to do. I don't care if we have to go to Ohio State and beat them. Fine, let's do it. Let's go up there and beat them in their own house, and I'm all for it.
Oh yeah, definitely. So I also, I want to get back to Unsung's point, because that's interesting. If Clemson ends up beating SMU could end up sticking around, and that would, I think, bump out Alabama. Which would just, that would make it easier for us, obviously. But would that push us up some? Possibly, right? Like, that could possibly maybe push us up a little bit. Well, no, I guess not, because whoever. Like, if SMU falls, I guess they would probably fall to Alabama's spot or somewhere in that range. But yeah, a lot of folks are saying, that if Georgia loses, then they could end up being behind us and end up bumping us up. And look, I'm all for that. I mean, for sure. But what happens if Texas loses, right?
Well, my thing is, what happens if Oregon just absolutely beats the brakes off of Penn State?
Yeah.
Right, like, because of that is something I seriously think can and will happen. I think Oregon will probably drag Penn State in that playoff game, but we'll see what happens, man. It's going to be interesting on how they do this. Hopefully we learn a lot of lessons of what not to do next season when they do this. There needs to be make a really good computer model and take the bias out of it, right? Something needs to happen.
Yeah, I mean, something for sure needs to happen. And I mean, really, everyone's saying that. It's so obvious that these people, and I don't even think that they don't know what they're doing. I think they know exactly what they're doing. And yeah, it's something I would be willing to say I'm gonna say like 90% sure that the people voting on this stuff won't look the same next season, because this is ridiculous. It's just,
this is a clown show. Yeah, totally.
Yep. So, all right. Well, let's get to some more of these. Okay. We'll sit this down for a minute, but we can always bring it back up. All right. So I see some folks still talking about that. Let's see right here from Brent Delozier. Thank you for joining us. And I'm happy with the linebacker class this year. Should help the defense a lot. In my opinion, it was a weakness in our D this year. Yeah, I think that I guess it was one of the weaknesses to a very strong defense. Just because, the front four really wasn't a weakness. Obviously, whenever we had Peely out there, he looked good. Arion Carter, I think that he's looked very solid for most of the season, but everyone's gotten better.
Yes.
Like T-Lander, he had some struggles. He's gotten better. Jalen Smith, really, once Peely went down and Jalen Smith had to play more, he looked really bad. I wouldn't say really bad, but he didn't look as good as he probably could have to start his little like tenure off as a real player. Caleb Perry didn't look as great either, but they've come such a long way.
Yes.
And I think that they're all coming back along
Yeah.
with all the young talent that we just got in.
Yeah, they showed a lot of improvement over the season. I mean, you saw some when they got thrown in there originally. You could tell there was some of that. Oh wow, a little bit of deer in the headlights kind of thing. But man, those guys to see how much they grew over the course of the season was really impressive. And that only happens with really good coaching, probably really good coaching and really good teammates to help bring them along. But I mean, they really showed up. Yes, me.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm super proud of like everything from their, getting into their fits, from not overrunning stuff, right? Or taking better angles. But the pass coverage, what I saw versus Vanderbilt in pass coverage, y'all, we talk about it all the time. Don't cover grass. Y'all will be so excited to see the way that our guys found somebody and then latched onto him. It was no covering grass. I mean, maybe just like a little bit, but for the most part, they looked tremendous. So that makes me feel really, really good moving forward with what I think this team can do in the playoffs. And actually, I've got some stats and stuff if y'all want to see how we match up versus Ohio State. D. Taylor, what's going on? D saying Shady hurt my feelings. Yeah, man. He kind of hurt mine too. But like I said,
They're
is all
kids.
business.
They're kids, and they're being. You have to understand it. Like, it'd be easy for me to say, oh, you should commit here, but when Florida had a great big bag of money because they held on to Napier. They had a lot of money accumulated because they thought, hey, we're going to have to buy this guy out, right? Not that it was going to be the biggest buyout, but it's still a lot of money. And then all of a sudden when they said, hey, we're going to hold on to him. And then they were like, hey, what do we do with all this money? Oh, well, I know. I know what we'll do. We'll buy some recruits. Yep. So that's what they did. That's why this happened. And it is what it is, man. But listen, it's not, who's to say he doesn't get down there and a year later or something, he's like, hey man, I'm hitting the portal. Maybe I want to transfer and go play somewhere else or something.
Yeah.
But, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. But you know what? I mean, we're gonna be fine. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna be straight.
We will.
I'm waiting to see who else is gonna be hitting the portal from Tennessee because there's been some rumors that some of those wide receivers might be leaving.
I 100% expect some wide receivers to leave. Some guys that have been here a while and haven't seen the field. I'm not concerned about some of the new guys that have been here, Braylon or Mike. I think but maybe some of that needs to happen. I mean, look what happened with the secondary last season. That was everybody, oh, secondary's horrible and all this. And listen, you got Travis Smith, right? And that is his name, Travis Smith, coming in.
Yeah.
Dude, that kid is special. You got Joakim Dotson. You got all these other people that can come in and compete. We've already got some guys that have been in the system. And I think I really look forward to seeing Braylon and Mike get some more playing time and see what can happen,
Yeah, me too, man. We'll definitely see. I mean, if you think about it, last game versus Vandy, whenever Mike Matthews got some more playing time, and it kind of felt like maybe Chris Brazzell felt like he was more of the guy. It kind of felt like, man, things was happening. Now, also, Vandy was playing a very soft defense, but even still, I think that we do have some very young talent that's just kind of like waiting on their moment. So, I think that Nico trusts them, and they're getting more and more trust. So, we will see what happens. I did want to touch on Dane Key, wide receiver. He's in the portal. He's like 6'3", 6'4". We talk about him every year. And dude, I think that will be a player that Tennessee might try to target.
Because, what about Concepcion?
I mean, I don't know. So I don't feel like Tennessee really needs any more slot wide receivers. I've seen people saying that Tennessee needs more slots, but I disagree with that. I think that we need some more outside people because Dante Thornton is leaving. Brew McCoy is leaving. All you got is Brazzell. And I mean, Mike Matthews, he can play outside, but he can also play inside too. But next season, we're still going to have Squirrel. We still have Braylon Staley, who's a dog. So I would say that we're probably okay. We don't rotate at slot that much. The outside guys are the ones that rotate a lot more. Keep in mind, too, that Leacock is someone that's been rumored that might be hitting that transfer portal. Caleb Webb, same thing. So I mean, I would lean more towards if we could only get one, I would lean more towards the outside guy. And I mean, I don't think that Concepcion is as good as, he's not as good as NC State tried to make him out to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. I mean, he's really small. You know what I'm saying? He's about Squirrel White
Yeah.
size. I don't know if he's that much faster or quicker or any of that. So I think if we're gonna go get a slot, I mean, let's try to upgrade. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Yeah, but I mean that's just me. But like, what do you think about it though?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I feel like we've got so many guys in there. I think it would really depend on how many people hit the portal on what we should do on that. I feel at some point, look, I like the portal. I think the portal's good for filling holes. But I also think, when you're recruiting a lot of top tier kids and you've got some top tier kids coming in, should they not have a chance? You know what I mean?
Yep.
I don't know, man. I get a little torn on this. I mean, I would love to see. I want to see Mike step up and be the guy next year. I want to see Braylon get some playing time. At times I don't. I get it if you have a spot that you're like, man, we're really thin here and we need to bring somebody in. But also, man, these kids have been here working, and I want to see them get their chance. So,
yeah,
sure.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. It's a whole lot of talent, and we have to start using it, or people are just going to keep on transferring out. I know that we're not trying to put people, we're not trying to recruit people just to let them transfer out all the time. Let me get to this right here from Larry Martin saying, love the show. Thank you so much. We need Sanders to make the class. Yeah, so Tim's been touching on it. Sounds like he might be signing later on. You said later this week.
Yeah, that's at least that's what I saw posted. Now, listen, guys, take this with a grain of salt. Like, anything I say, I'm reading off the internet or Twitter or the general's quarters or whatever. It doesn't necessarily mean it's true. I haven't heard any verified sources about anything, but it sounded like that was probably a logical thing when I read it. I was like, okay, yeah. But man, fall Twitter is so wild. Like, there's people. They melt down, dude. It is so crazy. Certain days I just won't even get on there, especially if it's after a loss or something. I'm like, I just avoid it. I'm like, no, I can't see all this lunacy today.
Yeah, I definitely feel you on that. Let's get to this one right here from Corey Aldridge saying, I love to beat Ohio State and Oregon. Mm-hmm. So I would too. I would love to get that path. So actually, let me show y'all right now. Okay, let me pull this up. This is how the matchup would look between us and Ohio State. These are the stats that we always do, typical, like matchup stuff. So this is our offense versus their defense. Now, their defense is ranked number 1 in the country. Let's keep in mind who they're playing.
That's right? What I was going to say. That's versus
playing
Big
2 or 3 teams, and everybody else is garbage. They just lost to the 128th ranked offense in the country with this defense that's supposed to be so great. With the team that at home with the team that cannot pass the ball. I think Michigan threw for like 60 yards on them, and they won.
They just said, "Hey, we're going to run the ball," and if your defense is that good, you'd think you'd be able to shut that down, right?
Oh, listen, I've really, taken my time, and I'm watching a lot more film on them. When I tell you that they're getting moved up front, Their linebackers, so backers buzz. So a buzz. It's kind of like a patch of feet. You have to coach like the younger players that play linebacker out of jumping up off the ground when they're doing it, because it slows you down, right? Like if you're up in the air whenever someone's running, you have to wait till you get back down to the ground before you can move. So the whole point there is Ohio State's linebackers do that on a very consistent basis. That is elementary school linebacker stuff where you're bouncing up and down like this. They're not physical. You know what I'm saying? They try to be physical. I've seen them blitzing at full speed. Michigan center, boom, smacks a guy, drops him to the floor. I mean, it's totally different. It's a totally different animal. But I did want to show y'all this just so that y'all can see how this thing matches up. Now, I had talked about Ohio State losing to the number 128th ranked offense in the country. There is no other team in the top 25 that has lost the game to an offense that bad. There's not a one. So you can't tell me that they deserve to have a home game over us. Like I don't want to hear that. That was a horrible loss. You can't say that it's just like us losing to Arkansas on the road.
That's nowhere near. Yeah, it's nothing like that. Not even close.
Excuse me. Okay, so let me show y'all how this side of it looks. So look at their offense versus our defense, right? They're not winning in any category. And keep in mind, again, who they're playing up against. It's literally like they're playing up against, like the varsity team playing up against the freshman team for 95% of their games. And I would say 1.5 of those is like playing up against a JV team. The competition level it's drastically different. Drastically. Now, they've got a whole lot of good pieces. They have no idea how to use them. If they try to be physical versus Tennessee, they are going to lose in a very major way. And also, something that we touched on earlier, Tim, about having a quarterback that's not mobile, that stands back there like a daggum statue. Our guys don't have to be as disciplined with their pass rush lanes and stuff. They're going to wreak havoc. They're going to, I'm telling you, this is a very bad matchup for Ohio State. And I think that this right here, especially seeing how much our defense will be dominant versus their offense, I think that should tell you a lot, because Tennessee's offense will travel. We can run the football in any climate. That doesn't matter. I think that we can throw the football in any climate, maybe not as well whenever it's real cold, but we can find people down the field, throw it up nice and soft. You know what I'm saying? Put you some Vaseline on your arms. You know what I'm saying? All that type of stuff. Make sure you got some hand warmers. Just, wear some gloves. You'll be fine. It's really not that much different. Like I played football in the snow for a while. Actually, when it snows, Tim, it's kind of, I don't want to say that it's warm because that sounds crazy, but like it's really not that bad. It's just like when it's cold and it's like rainy, that's the worst. But cold and snow, that's not too bad. So I think that we'll be fine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Okay. Sure. Let me try to get back to some more of these. Where was that right here, Tim? Okay. I think right here.
SMU. Yeah.
Okay. So Corey Aldridge, if SMU loses, they'll be out 100%. Excuse me. So you know what? I would think that, but that's not what people have been saying. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, logically speaking, yeah, it would make sense that they're not in. But for me, it also would have made sense that Tennessee would have the home game over Ohio State. So what I'm starting to learn now is some of the people like that Dinich lady who works for ESPN, I think that she knows. She might not say everything exactly right every time, but I think that she knows. So some of their talking points, I'm starting to listen to it because I think that they know a lot more than we do because, Tim, like you said, there's no logic behind any of it.
There's zero.
From Jeremy Dedrick said, I'm good with going to Ohio State if it happens.
100%.
So, Tim, is that a game that you would try to go catch, man?
No, hell no. Bunch of rude ass Ohio State fans sitting in the cold for how many? Look, I'd like to be there and watch us win, but I don't want to sit in that environment. I'm gonna watch that from my house and in a nice, warm, cozy environment, eat some good food and drink some expensive liquors. What I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to have a
good, man.
Because I truly think if we get a chance to play Ohio State, we will win that game. Mm-hmm. I know what they're trying to do. It looks to me like the way they lined everything up, they only put one SEC team on one side over there with all the Big Ten guys, right? Yeah. Thinking if they did that, that gives the Big Ten the easiest route. It might not work out like that, guys. It might not work out like that. Yep. It might not work out that way. Look, man, I'm for whatever they want to do. I don't see any team in here that I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of us playing, and especially on a Ohio State. I'm fine at playing them at their field, but on a neutral field, I'm not worried about anybody. But I don't think Ohio State's ready for I don't think they've seen anything quite like what Tennessee's going to bring, and that's going to be one of the difficulties of them playing the Tennessee teams. How many teams do they play that play tempo? How many teams? How many teams have they seen that go out with the crazy wide Heupel splits? There's not any. What is there? Maybe one more team, and there's not many people.
Yeah, I would say maybe Oregon. I think Indiana might run a little bit of tempo. Indiana, they actually kind of spread it out, but it's not the same. The caliber of athlete is not even close.
Yeah,
it's not even close.
Well, the physicality is not the same.
No,
it's just like SEC is freaking brutal, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, I look forward to it. I really hope they give us. So I hope it stays just the way it is right now. I would love that. I just don't know about Alabama being there at 3 losses. But I mean, I guess you're going to have to let in some team. But I don't know, man. I think South Carolina is really. I feel bad for them if they don't get in. Honestly, just because I do think, as far as an SEC team that's hot right now, it's South Carolina, not Alabama or Ole Miss, because Kiffin will Kiffin. He will Kiffin it up.
Yeah,
I know what's
yeah,
going to
he
happen.
will.
He will Kiffin it up. I'm not. Look, I don't like Beamer either, but
No.
like those guys, I think they've got. If you're looking at a team that's outside looking in, I think they should have a shot, right? They've got what, 6 wins in a row.
Yeah,
They've got a good defense, like, you know.
they have a really big team, like a really big, strong team. That's one of the things we talked about earlier in the season. Excuse me, y'all. Just like watching them play, I was like, dang, everybody on their team is huge. Like they big and they fast.
Yeah.
And that's what I knew. I said they're gonna be a problem, especially looking at the pass rush and stuff. But either way, it is what it is at this point.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to make it. It's messed up. But what do you
Yeah.
think about Penn State, though? Because I've heard some folks talking about, and you just kind of brought it up, if they do end up kind of getting drugged by Oregon, we might be facing them. And folks saying, hey, you might have to go to Happy Valley and play.
Well, I think that would be a tougher game environment. But as far as is the environment would be tougher. I'm not saying the game itself would be tougher. The environment like that, they do get wild up there. 100,000 people. They do the whiteout. They get that. They've got a pretty good environment. But this relates to a story that I heard today talking about the environment. One of my friends, one of his clients, was in town and have to be was friends with somebody, and he wound up going to the 2022. He's a Ohio State fan, and he said he's watched Ohio State and Penn State play a million times. Said he was in town for the 2022 Alabama-Tennessee game, and said he went to that, and he said he'd never seen anything like that. There's nothing that matches that environment, just so you know. And that was coming from an Ohio State fan, so I thought that was pretty cool. But anyways,
that is.
I like the way we match up with Penn State. I like the way we match up with Ohio State. They're not used to playing SEC type football. It's a different brand of football. But look, if we get to go play them either place, I think Tennessee's can win either of those games.
Yeah, definitely. And then too, like what I always look at, Big Ten versus SEC, and we are going to get back to the chat, y'all. But I always look at how the fronts look. That's where the real big difference is. So for the Buckeyes, number 44, he's their best pass rusher. He has 9 sacks on the season. His name is TJ. I can't pronounce his last name. I think it's Polynesian or something like that. And I'm not trying to knock him or anything like that. But man, when you talk about such a lack of twitch, he's 6'5", 270. Just for like a point of reference, a guy like Tyree West, he's pretty comparable. I think he's about 6'3", 6'4", about 280, 290. I'm in the process of finding the clips to kind of match up side by side to show y'all the difference in the twitch, which is just how quickly like you can move your arms and feet and your body and everything else. How boom, 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 right? Like how sudden are you? There is not one pass rusher on Ohio State's team that has probably as much twitch as anybody on our front. It is so different. That man has 9 sacks. If James Pierce played for the Buckeyes, he might have 25. Like that's the difference. That is the difference. It's no, all of their wins come from bull rush, comes from effort. It's not, hey, I'm gonna set you up, boom, boom, swim, none of that type of stuff. Like they're just not those types of athletes. It's different. So excuse me, y'all. I'm definitely looking forward to that. All right, let me get back to the chat, y'all. All right, so right here from Corey Aldridge also saying, I think Georgia, Oregon, and Clemson all win Saturday. I could definitely see that happening. Well, hopefully not Georgia. I actually think that Texas is going to beat Georgia. Andrew Ginhall, what's going on, buddy? Saying conference champs should be guaranteed a spot in the playoffs. That's it. No guaranteed bye. Yeah, but see, the only problem with that, though, and I understand what you're saying. I think that's an excellent point. I think that the only problem with that is just going to be that, it's going to make that conference championship game not mean really anything. Like, no one's going to want to play in that. You know what I'm saying?
Right now, nobody wants to play any. I mean, I don't know if you saw this Beamer, the little thing from Beamer today, but he was like, why should we play out of conference games?
Right.
Like, I mean, look at Clemson. Like, right? They lost to Georgia and they lost to South Carolina. Why should you schedule anybody tough out of conference anymore ever again if this is the way this is going to be? And they're not wrong. Why should you do that?
There's no
that just
incentive to do that.
And that waters down football, man. I don't want to see that,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, really, it does. But that's why, and everyone's saying it. Everyone knows it. It's something's got to give here. From West Marshall for $4.99. I don't think that you put anything there, sir. But thank you so much for that super chat. And we are going to play the super chat clip. Thank you so much for that, Wes. All right, let's keep it going. Let's get to everybody else's stuff. I got to refine my spot.
Corey Aldridge right there.
Yep, right here. So he's just saying that they all grew up pretty fast. I thought probably talking about the linebackers.
Linebackers, yeah, we're behind.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Right here saying, yeah, I was high on Shady. I believed he was all Vol. Yeah, it's tough, man, but it just is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yep, from Brent saying Leacock and Webb portal bound. I think, yeah. I think so too. And you know what? It sucks, Tim, because I think that those are two very capable players. What did you think about Webb? He didn't do a whole lot this season, but what did you think about what he has done so far?
He's had flashes, right? I mean, we've seen him at times, but the only problem is they've always had somebody else in front of them. I don't know, man. I mean, I think either one of those guys could probably go off somewhere and have a great season. And I think if they stayed around here, they could have a potential to have a great season because with Brew leaving and Dante leaving, that opens up some spots, right? So I don't know, but I could see why if they were like, look, I'm gonna move on and give it a shot somewhere else. So I could kind of see it either way.
Yeah, especially for Caleb Webb because next year that's his last season. And it's also, I believe, Nimrod's last season, and Brent saying also, possibly Nimrod too. It's tough, man. It just kind of is what it is. Other people are gonna have to step up. From West Marshall saying it's the changing of the guard at wide receiver. Roll them out, baby. Yeah, you already know.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes you just got to do that. The Invisible Redneck saying hi, Bull, Timmy G, and everyone. Go Vols. What's going on, buddy? It's good to see you in here. Brent saying Squirrel will shock some people next year when he's actually healthy. Do you think that's kind of been what his problem has been, Tim?
He's been banged up a lot this year. Yeah, he's been. But my thing with that too is if he's that banged up, why are you playing him? Why are you playing him that much if he's that banged up? If he's that banged up and he's hurt, like that one game and you saw him like he wouldn't even lift his arm, why is he in there? Like put somebody else in there, and I don't know. Sometimes I scratch my head at some of these things, but obviously the coaches see something, they know something we don't, right? They see practice, we don't see practice, so they know something.
I want to say now I could be off on this, but I want to say was his first game, kind of like playing after he messed his shoulder up. Was that Alabama? Because every time I think about that Bama game, I think about him diving out and then he's dragging his arm. But it could have been a game too.
Yeah, I think that one lingered on for a couple games actually.
Yeah.
So
I was bringing up Bama because he's from Alabama, so that could have been why he played in that one. But yeah, I mean, you have to be smart, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you really do. You have to be smart, and excuse me, and the coaching staff needs to be smart also. So yeah, I don't understand that, but hopefully he will get himself back healthy. Hype said earlier today that he expects everyone to play, but he always says that. So we don't know how serious what Squirrel's dealing with is. But I trust Mike. I trust Mike Matthews. Like, he's the guy. And then also you still got Nimrod, as long as he doesn't hit that portal. So we have other guys there. From Corey Aldridge, got to go, guys. Appreciate y'all. Go Big Orange. Thank you so much for joining us, Corey. And thank y'all to everyone else that is joining us. Please do make sure to like and subscribe. Please do make sure that you are subscribed too, because sometimes you don't realize that you're not subscribed, but that does help us out a ton. Power T is saying, it's fixed. They're trying to save Ryan Day's job. They come to Knoxville. What time it will be? Yeah, but at the same time, if you're trying to save his job, why did you think that you could choose us? Like we wasn't the right ones for you to choose at home. On the road, on the moon,
Yeah,
in the parking lot.
I
We
don't
was
think it's going to
2-1.
matter where we play them. Like if we play them at home, that would be even better. That would be
Oh,
awesome.
sure.
But if we put, I want it to be at their house.
Yeah.
I want it to be. I want to come into their house, and that's where I want to do it at. I want to beat them there. That way they can't say, "Oh, well, it was this and it was that," and yeah, whatever, man. Like not only did you just lose Michigan, we're going to fire Ryan Day for you. There you go. It doesn't matter where we play you. If we get to play you, Ryan Day, buddy, get that resume ready. It's done.
Oh yeah, man. Look, he already knows. I saw a clip. I want to say it might have been on Twitter or on X, where someone was kind of like following Ryan Day after the game and just like filming him. Yeah, did you see that too? And he was like, they was showing Michigan and the Buckeyes fighting, and he's just like a deer in the headlights, just like Then that man that's not who you want leading your team.
No.
This is not an alpha. You do not want that man on the team, especially not versus these dogs.
Yeah,
that's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, look at the post. Look at like what you were talking about. You saw the Michigan head coach. What's his name?
Moore.
Yeah. He was out there ripping his guys. Trying to stop it. And Day's just over there, 1,000-yard stare. Like those two dudes are not the same. Right? No.
Yeah, you can always tell a real ball coach. You know what I'm saying? Like you can always tell the guys is like, man, look, I'll get down there with you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's who you want leading a football team. All right, let's get to some more. Excuse me, y'all. From Mucho Boomin', what's going on, bro? Saying Lady Vols looking good tonight. Oh man, I forgot that we was playing tonight. Daggum. Okay, I'm gonna have to turn that on. Good tonight. Up a sub. Okay, up a sub 2 till half. Okay, I don't know what that means. Okay,
right.
I see that there are 2 minutes till half. I don't know what up a sub means. Is that 7 or is that 21? Okay, good. So Power T. We have to travel and support the team. Tennessee fans have to show up. That's the other problem too. Is that how many? I mean, like unless you live up there. I mean, maybe some Vol fans will go, but I mean, who wants to go? I mean, it's cold, dude. It's cold. It's miserable. But that's an excellent point, though. We definitely do need to do that.
Tennessee will travel. Like, there's tickets. They will be there. 100%. I promise.
I don't
be loud and obnoxious, and it's going to happen.
Yes, sir. Brent, I think we can go 12 personnel on any Big Ten team and run it down their throat. Just need Nico to hit the easy ones and we can dominate. Yeah, I mean, I think that we can run 12 personnel versus anybody. They don't want to see us in that 12, especially not with the tempo. Sorry, y'all. Because whenever they match big on big, their bigs are, they're huge linebackers that are slow, right? Like they don't have, and I'm not saying that all of them are slow like that, but a lot of them. That's going to be a problem because Ethan Davis can run. Miles Kittelman can run. Holden Stays can run. You ain't guarding him on the outside whenever we flex him out. So I think that's an excellent point, Brent. And I'm looking forward to all the matchup stuff, man. I'm ready for this weekend to be over with. I want to watch some good football, but I'm ready to see who are we going to be playing because I want to start to get focused. I want the team to be ready. And Hype kind of had that. He kind of had that look in his eye today. So I'm definitely I'm looking forward to it. Vols fan for life. What's going on, bro? Saying, man, I live up here around these Big Ten guys. It's not the same. Closest game is Michigan versus Ohio at Michigan. The Big House is legit. Okay, excellent. So I've never been to Michigan, but I've heard some good things about it. I've also heard that it doesn't get as loud because of how it's made, right? It's kind of made like a bowl, right?
I don't know. I've never. I mean, I've never paid that much attention to it. I know as far as size, I mean, there's a lot of people in that stadium.
Yeah,
I know that for sure. It's big.
Yeah. So it was always us versus Michigan. It was like who was the biggest stadium? 110, 112,000. Yeah. I'm still kind of upset that we don't have 110 now, man. I wish we could do something to get
just
that back.
Give Danny some time. He'll put on another level there. Let's see what happens. But I wouldn't be surprised if that doesn't happen for too long.
Yeah. But yeah, so that is interesting though, just kind of like going back to Michigan Stadium. I think that it is made more like a bowl, kind of like the kind of like the Rose Bowl. And I don't think that it's as straight up. The stadiums that are more straight up, the noise just like kind of stays in it, like it bounces back and forth. It doesn't escape as much. So those stadiums tend to get louder. So Penn State is a stadium that is like made more upright. You know what I'm saying? Then to me, at least, I'm not an architect, but it just looks like it's more upright than Michigan's is. Now, I've seen Penn State Stadium, like just driving past it. It is huge. It's like Neyland. You know, it is a huge stadium. So yeah, I think that would be a fun game. Any of them, I don't care. Larry Martin saying I wanted Michigan to get more touches. Oh, I'm sorry, I wanted Matthews to get more touches all year. Yeah, I think we've all been kind of clamoring for that.
Yeah,
and
100%.
now that he is getting it, we're seeing, man, he's making plays.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you see that when you went back and watched the Vandy tape of the one crossing route where number one, sorry,
Dante?
brain fart. Dante, yes, thank you, brain fart there. Where on that crossing route that he was on, Mike was wide open on the left side, just over here going, and he still came back and laid a hit just because. But,
I most definitely saw that. Yeah, he is a dog.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a real dog. And then too, I know he's really good at wide receiver, but y'all, he was a damn good safety. I mean,
I can see that.
Man, he might be possibly the best safety on this team. And I'm not just saying that. But he's just one of those guys. He's just a phenomenal player. He's just a football player through and through. All right, let's get to some more from Vol Fan for Life. Sorry, PG version. I live up here around Notre Dame, and it's not the same. I've went to games with friends, but I was always like, man, it's quiet here. I could actually hear the visitors' quarterback cadence. Wow.
That's wild. Yeah,
that is unbelievable.
Kneeling. That's not a kneeling thing.
I mean, not in any games. I don't think at any point in any games could you hear quarterback's cadence. That's crazy. Wow. I would have thought that Notre Dame's, well, I don't know. I don't know too many Notre Dame fans, but I always think of them as maybe being a little bit rowdy, but maybe they're more like bougie and they don't get too loud. I don't know.
The whole Notre Dame thing's always weird to me, man. Like, get a freaking conference, bro.
Right, man.
Just enough of this.
Yep. So from money controls it all. Those guys are damn fools in that committee. It's everything Bull said. Money with the side helping of Big Ten bias 100%. Ward Manuel is a clown. For sure.
Fully agree. Yes, sir.
For sure. All right, so we're going to get to these last few. Actually, I'm going to pull this one up so I know where I'm at. And then right here. All right, so we'll kind of shut it down right about there. If a couple more come in before we get down to the bottom, we might read those as well. But money controls it all. Ryan did with his jet black number 5 beard dye. He's trash. That's funny. Yeah, he definitely is dying it.
Yeah, he's just fermenting that thing for sure.
Vols fan for life saying only place I've been that compared is Michigan versus Ohio State at the big house. Did I already read this?
I'm not. He okay.
Maybe you put it in here twice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's cool. From the Invisible Redneck, Lady Vol smoking them 40. Okay, yes, thank you. 47-25. That's big. Hey, our women's basketball team is going to be really good. I've watched them play some. They look unbelievably good. Like, it's crazy to see how quickly they turned that around to a potential national. I think that they could be a potential national championship team. So, obviously it's still really early, but man,
let's see what happens when we get an SEC play. But yeah.
Yeah, look, but I am loving what I'm seeing from them at this point. Okay, almost broke down my whole setup. Okay, from Howard T saying, I think D. Sampson would have the game of his life against Ohio State. I guarantee you, we get up for this game. Yeah, I think that the players are just kind of pissed off about it.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's just us. I think that they feel slighted. I think that they're ready for it. So
I think they know what's on the line. Like, they've worked for this all season long. Now you're here, and they know every game. Like, there's no overlooking a team from here forward, right? Yeah. You know what's in front of you. You know what's on the line. All you guys worked all this time for this, man. You put in all this work. Now's the time. Go get it.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think that they will do just that. All right, so let me get right here to Vols fan for life. Also saying there is Vols everywhere up here. I promise we will be there. I love to hear that. That's big. And he's saying that it's a lot like Neyland. Are you talking about Michigan? is Michigan Stadium is a lot like Neyland?
Probably so.
Okay.
It's a big house, yeah.
Okay, big house. All right, Vols fan for life. Okay, I got you right there. Okay, so he's saying it's for real
big house.
loud inside the big house. Okay, man. Well, shoot, I'm gonna have to put that on my bucket list to maybe go check it out. And he's saying that the horseshoe isn't loud at all. It's kind of like a big Vandy. Okay, that's how it looks and sounds to me on TV too. It don't look like they really making too much noise. Brent saying if Tennessee doesn't win the championship, what team do you think can win it all? If you had to pick one, Tim, who do you think?
Pick an SEC team. Pick an SEC team. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah.
Look, man. Georgia, Texas. I don't think Alabama has any chance, but I think any of the three SEC teams. I just think Alabama is so. I don't know, man. It seems like the recipe for beating them is play them really physical. Get really physical with what's his name, number 2, Ryan. Is it?
Williams.
Yeah, Williams. Get physical with him. Seems to shut him down. He's obviously afraid of contact. Do you see that one play in when they got that pick 6 in the Oklahoma game? Like they were throwing to Ryan Williams, and he's standing there, and when the guy jumps in, he does this, like, oh. Let me get out of the way. He goes like this. I was like, bro.
That's not only that. Look.
Not only that, but after we beat him and he painted his fingernails orange, it's like, bro, that ain't good. What are you doing? What are you doing, bro? Like,
yeah, you know what? I would say that Alabama would have a chance if all the other SEC teams went down. I mean, I still think that Alabama is a good team, but like you said, it's just not the same.
Shut down Milroe, and then what happens?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Literally, I mean. So far, that's been the recipe. Now, if he could come out and have a game like he had in that Georgia game, okay, fine. But we haven't seen that since, right? Yeah. And like to me, it just looks like, look, if you can stop Milroe from running, you can win the game.
Yeah, for sure. If I had to pick one team, it would be Texas. I think that Tennessee and Texas are the two teams the closest to being complete. Excuse me. And obviously, there's going to be flaws in everybody's game, but to me, like those are the two most complete teams. Mm-hmm. But I love how Tennessee would match up versus Texas. So that should let you know about how I feel about this whole thing. All right, let me see. All right, so right here from Power T saying the disrespect for Tennessee this year has been unreal. Yeah, they love disrespecting it. Yeah, they pretty much always. Like that. Yes, Ball fan for life for $2. Thank you so much for that, bro. Saying I wish I could send pics on here. It ain't the same. So are you talking about Michigan? Or what? It's because I just want to be clear. Hold on. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, hey, I would love to get the opportunity to go up there and maybe take in some games at some of those venues, a little bit more frequently. Money controls it all, saying that I want the guys to be pissed about it. Treat it like less than all year, 5+ spots behind Texas all year, the same record until Georgia lost. I don't care if we play in the horse shit or not. Go Big Orange and FUGA all day. I love that, baby.
Yes, sir.
And then too, you know what? That's a really good point because that is true. Like we were just sitting there at the same spot after winning games, and they never wanted to move us up. So for them to, and it's look, I mean, I know we keep on saying
I'm used to that though.
Stuff. Yeah,
it's always like that, man. Unless it's wild. But it's so wild how the media does sometimes, man. Like, look at the way they did with Colorado last year, right? Like, they were blowing Dion up, and he was 4-8. Now this year, look at them; they're having a way better season, and there's zero of that hype. Like, people talk about Travis Hunter, that's it. Nobody talks about Colorado. Last year, nobody could stop talking about Colorado. And they weren't good. And this year they're way better. And it's not even a thing. It's just so wild. Whatever the media grabs onto and decides to run with, man, sometimes it's just crazy.
Yeah, it is. But so I was going to say, though, that it's funny because they keep on moving the goalpost every week of, why they're moving teams up and why they're moving teams down. But I mean, it's pretty much all been said before. Y'all already know how it goes. Let me get to this one right here from Michael Dalton. Thank you for joining us. Saying, I believe the committee traded votes that put Ohio State above Tennessee in exchange to let Alabama in the playoffs. Yeah, I think I've seen that before. But yeah, That would not surprise me by any means. Next one right here is for Money Controls It All. Williams, a kid can't really handle contact. He was good until people saw his physical on him, and it was over. Yeah, for sure. He needs a sandwich of 10 and some manhood. Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing too, is that whenever you put those young players out there, true freshmen, and he's one of the younger guys, man, it is a difference. Like, we're talking about going up against grown men. There's something else that I love about Tennessee's roster. We got a bunch of grown-ass men on this team in the trenches. That's where it counts at, man. That grown man strength is starting to kick in for some of those players. So I think that we will be fun. Let me get to the super chat right here from my dog, Matt SS, for $10. Thank you so much. Saying, in Bull, I trust. Much love to you and all us balls, baby. Thank you so much for that, brother. Let me get to this for you real quick. I appreciate it. We do as well. All right, so let me get to these last few right here from Franklin Owens saying, what's your honest take on these recruits? Yeah, so I think that this class is really good. I think that we did a great job of going out, targeting all of our needs. And we have videos out from preseason where we talked about what the team needs were. And we might kind of, line up some of that stuff side by side here once the class is fully put together and just show you where we hit on that and how well we actually did. But yeah, I think we did a great job going out getting players that match the culture, that play with, with that dog, with that attitude, and that are just really, really good athletes and also really good people.
One of the best linebacker classes we've had in, I don't know, man. Yeah, crazy long time. Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna stop right there at Larry Martin. Larry Martin's will be the last one. Well, dang. So Dirty Higgins, yours came in as soon as I was saying that, so yours will be last. All right, now let's get to this one right here. All right, so Vols fan for life says, if you win the toss in the shoe, you want to go away from the inside of the shoe because that's where it gets loud. Okay, get a lead, then go towards the shoe in the second. All right, that's some very valuable information. I'm sure that our staff does have that, but yeah, see, like, it's little stuff like that does play a factor if you're playing up against teams in venues that you're not used to playing in, right? Like, you gotta kind of trust some other coaches in different areas to give you some of that inside information. And those little things, man, can make a big difference over the course of a 60-minute ball game. Brent, hold on one second, y'all. All right, right here. So from Brent saying, any of the recruits that can make an immediate impact like Boo did this year. Oh, I think that there's several. I think that there's several of them. Plenty of them for sure.
Yeah, I'll name. And you might pick the same, but let's do one on offense, one on defense.
Okay.
Defense, Marion Dye, I think without a doubt could come in, and he's that dude is crazy, man. Yeah, he could be a Leo, you could put him inside, and he's that guy's got some crazy potential. And then let's go one on offense. I'll say Travis Hunter, or is it Travis Hunter?
Travis Smith.
Travis Smith. I'm sorry, yeah. Travis Smith. Either of those two guys.
Yeah,
there's probably more than that. There's definitely Isaiah Campbell. I mean, there's some guys that could come in and make an impact.
Sure. So that's who I was about to go with. But I mean, shoot, since you said him, I'm gonna actually also put in Jaden Harmon. And actually, dang, I don't want to name all too many folks, but I think that Christian Gass, because he's so versatile. He could play like a stand-up linebacker, or he could play at Leo. We kind of talked about that before, where, hey, man, Joshua Josephs might be leaving. We got a guy that can maybe step in and help to, fill a void there if there is one. So that's big. And then offensively speaking, man, I kind of want to go with Radarius Jackson since you went Travis Smith. Mm-hmm. The reason that I want to go with him is just because, well, he's so raw. So, I mean, he will have to get more polished with his route running. But if he can get that part of it picked up, man, he is explosive. And we need more of that from our wide receiver room. But I definitely think, and it doesn't happen very often that the freshmen get to play as wide receivers inside of the system, but I think that he's one that could definitely do it. But that's a really good question. All right, let's try to finish it up, y'all. Just got a few more here. All right, so for Money Controls It All in 2022, we had no defense and get a 1 ranking. This year, we have a shutdown defense, and these clowns act out of pocket. Yeah, man, but I think that's Yeah, they really fear us though. I think that
Yeah.
I think they're really scared. Ball fan for life. Only one that compares is the Big House in Penn State. All right, for sure. Thank you for adding that. Money controls it all. I'll send super chat, cash app at the show. I'm driving. Oh man, thank you so much for that. We most definitely appreciate the support. Larry Martin, Boo could be slot on any game. Man, Boo, if you're talking about slot wide receiver, yeah, Boo. Yeah. I think Boo's a better offensive player than he is defense. Yeah. And that's saying a lot because I think he's just special on defense. From Dirty Higgins. Okay, so Dirty Higgins, you was the last one because you are a member. After watching this breakdown and listening to his interview, I think Isaiah Campbell is going to wind up being great. I think that he is too. He's a very well-spoken young man. You can tell that he gets it. And actually, I'm going to get to just these last two right here from other members. Money controls it all. Headed up 75 north to slap the S out of Ford Manual. Yeah, go ahead and slap him for us.
I'm at the hot dog stand by the looks of it, but yeah.
Okay. Sure. All right. Last one, y'all. This is from Matt SS saying, we got to hit the portal like an 18-year-old Tyson. Okay. All right. I like it, man. For sure. All that stuff's coming. Tim, do you have any closing thoughts?
No, man, just appreciate everybody joining us, and thanks for all the people that gave super chats, and really love interacting with you guys, man. We've got a consistent group of people that show up every time and throw out some good stuff. So
yeah,
that's all I got to say about that. Go Vols.
Yeah, I mean, yes, for sure. Yeah. Thank y'all so much for joining us. Please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and we will be seeing y'all tomorrow. Peace.
Yes, sir.